Hey everyone, this episode is going to be slightly different. This is me giving an update to what's kind of happening, what's going on, and kind of the plans moving forward for the podcast. Hey everyone, hope you're well, playing and making the games that you all love. You're joining me, your host, Max Pearce, Senior Level Designer, and I thank you and welcome you to the Level Design Lobby. Absolute pleasure to have you here, and as I said, I hope you're doing well, whether this be morning, evening, or night, whenever you listen to the show. I appreciate your time and attention, so thank you very much for joining me. This one's going to be a little bit different, this just being the fact that it's been a while since we've just sat and spoke. We've had so many incredible episodes over this last year. It's been 4 years from the podcast. I didn't even actually ever get time to celebrate that. But yeah, 4 years now, which is insane. We have nearly 200 episodes, which, again, I can't really fathom. I think it's about 175 around that mark, depending. I think it's around there, actually, which... Again, baffling to me. 4 years as well is another strange feeling of like, oh, wow, we've been this long. But I just wanted to take the time to say thank you to everyone, from the guests who've welcomed and joined us to share their knowledge, to my team and editors who help improve and take this episode to the next level with their incredible and hard work. And to you, the Patreon supporters, thank you for everyone who still does support and who has supported me throughout this time period of 4 years. Without any of you, none of this would be as incredible as it is for me. So just thank you so much. And just lastly, everyone who does listen, I get some great messages from many of you just saying that this has helped in some way. It's taught you some incredible lessons. And also, the books, I forgot to mention, that was the thing that only happened within recent years, the 2 books as well. And for those of you who don't know, I'm also teaching the CGMA level design course, which this is the second term that we're doing, so that's great. So thank you for all the students who are participating in that, and obviously Amelia for creating the course, and Shane, who's the one who was the mentor with me on this current time frame, who introduced me and got me onto the course. So that's kind of what's been happening, really, kind of the future. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is the incredible developers over at Gametextures.com. For those of you who do not know who these incredible developers are, let me tell you a bit about them and their project. Their goal is to create incredible texture libraries for you as developers from all stages of production, whether that means early prototyping to the finished product. They have a range of different textures for you to download and use in your projects. Not only this, but they really emphasize the fact that it is from developers for developers. So they have a range of different art styles, again, to try fit those needs on multiple platforms, from Unreal with their focus materials to Unity and Blender. All of these are available for you if you join through one of their subscriptions. They have 30 free materials available now at no extra cost if you register and download them, which is in the link down below. You have a ton of different tiers to select from hobbyist, freelancers to full-time dev. They have you covered not only in terms of materials, stage, but price range as well. And for level designs, this is really important. You've heard me say it before about getting your color coding correct. So if you want to increase the different range of materials to help sell your prototypes or full game in development, then please subscribe, and you will also get a 10% discount off their subscription when you use the coupon code LEVEL99 at checkout. Join them now, grab a ton of cool materials, and help make your levels and environments pop. Alright, back to the show. I haven't really thought too much about it. I know, it's strange, but I think the one thing that I'm trying to look for in the future is just how to make this podcast better. And I know in terms of better, it's quite a broad frame when you say that, right? It's not like a definitive answer when you're just looking at better. So that's something that I think I want to focus on, because there's been a lack of personal episodes. Originally, it was scheduled where it'd be recommended reading materials, then it would be an episode by myself, followed by an interview, and then Q&A. And that was kind of how roughly year 3 played out, and a bit of year 4. But life had its ups and downs this year for not just me, many of us, but in terms of what affected the podcast. We had some great opportunities where people have reached out asking if they could, join the podcast, and agencies reaching out about that, which was incredible to have people ask to join the show, because the fact that it's grown so much thanks to all of you listening to it. But I feel that I've not had a chance to really just sit down and do an episode to talk as much. I know I have done, but I don't mean in a long time. They were kind of already pre-recorded, etc. So there's going to be, I don't know yet, but maybe that's something I want to focus on, is getting back to the basics of me talking about this, because I love having the interviews. All these incredible people. I mean, I don't know everything, so to hear other great designers be able to share their opinions is great. I just don't want it to be at the detriment of me talking to all of you as well, because at the end of the day, I think that's what makes this the fun part of the podcast for me, is not just getting to meet these incredible people, which I love, but also the fact that we get to build a bit of a relationship, and I'm kind of sharing my knowledge with you. Because as I mentioned, part of the reason I did this podcast came from the fact that it was partly me just jotting down my ideas, my thoughts, my theories on design, and a place for me to revisit, think about, and store that information to where we are now, as I said, which is brilliant. So I think that's something I want to think about. Myself and Murdad and Dan, we're all talking and trying to figure out how to make the video side a little bit more interesting. I think it's hard to convert a podcast into video, especially when I don't record any live video of me just talking, simply because I don't think that's super entertaining. Just from my side, I don't have a beautiful set. It's my tiny apartment in Poland, and I also like to respect people's privacy. Some people do want to do video, others do not, in terms of interview guests. And I kind of like the style that we've got, but it's something that we're thinking about as well. Maybe I need to script videos. I kind of have more of a bullet point approach and wing it from there. Who knows? It's just something that I just want to go. I know it's a very vague topic, but it's one nonetheless I wanted to mention. Other news, now I've mentioned this to people on Patreon, I did update on Twitter, but for those of you who maybe don't know, I've now left CD Projekt Red. I'm now a level design freelancer, which is very interesting. I have my own company called Level Design Lobby. What better name to give your company than this, I think. And I'm freelancing currently with Ninja Theory, which is incredible, as well as Timmy Studios, who are working on some, I don't think I'm actually allowed to say, but working on some great projects which are very exciting for me as well. So this was a big change, and it was one where I didn't think I'd be doing freelance, to be honest. Not in a bad way, but there doesn't seem to be many freelance level designers out there. Now, I'm very lucky with the situation with both Ninja Theory, the podcast makes a bit of money, and to already have a pre-existing relationship with Timmy Studios. And to finally be able to actually be like, oh, this is a way to make a living is quite an exciting one. I don't know how long it'll go on for, but it's brilliant. Like I said, both studios have been nothing but incredible to me, and I really appreciate everyone who's helped out there, because Ninja Theory, just first and foremost, is a studio that I absolutely adore and have wanted to work out for years. In terms of UK studios, it's one of my top 3 studios. It's top 3. I've wanted to work there for a long time. I loved their work on DMC. I think obviously Hellblade's incredible, but before that, Enslaved, great. I didn't play Heavenly Sword at the time, but they have a lot of incredible people working there. And again, it's a new place, new way to learn, and a lot of new tools to learn. And that's kind of what the remaining topic is going to be for this, with the fact that I want to talk about learning tools. And when I refer to tools, it's not just necessarily that of an editor, but it's also about what tools you have as a designer with your team, with the pillars of your game, right? This episode is going to be a little bit shorter because it's more of an update, but I thought we'd get onto some hard-hitting game design theories nonetheless. So let's kind of talk about tools. So first one is obviously your engine. I think it's always important to make sure that you have to. It's not just make sure, you have to understand your editor that you're using, because at the end of the day, I've worked on, I don't even know how many engines that I've used. So I've used Construct 2, Unity, Unreal, well, UDK, UE4, Snowdrop, Red Engine. So 6 different ones. And again, that's not a brag when I say that. You don't need to worry, especially if you're aspiring to get in the industry. It's not about how many engines you know. It's about making quality content, making quality levels that really stands out in your portfolio. The reason I just mentioned that is because of the fact that when you're using different tools, different kits right there, it can change the way that you work, whether that be in terms of pipeline, but also the workflow of your team, right? Some places we've talked about already, such as Rockstar, don't really do blockouts. Your level designers are referred to as level scripters. That's the most important role, on the fact that the environment artists block out the space. Ubisoft, for me, it was definitely more blocking out. CD Projekt Red, white boxing, grey boxing, blocking out was very new at the time for them. And again, different places, different spaces, different ways to use it. But I think the important thing is, when you're switching, is take the time, really ask for the time, because once you enter full production, you never really get a huge chance to actually be able to spend learning the tools or the kits there. So it's important to do that. You'll tend to find that within a month, you'll get into the swing of things, maybe give or take a week or two. It's more about figuring out how to do the same things. When you talk about learning a different programming language, it's the syntax, right, that can throw you off. Similar with visual scripting. They have different elements. You have if statements, might be called branches, might be called true or false. You don't know, right, in terms of that. But once you know what it is, but know what you're trying to create, which is an if statement, an array, whatever, you'll be instantly able to realize it once you spend the time. So I think the first important thing is obviously learn those tools there. Even if it's just you hacking stuff together. Say, for example, I always give this one, for example, if we have a ladder and we can't actually make the player climb, if you're making something for your portfolio piece, you can make them teleport. Just create a ladder mesh out of some blocks and have it teleport the player up or down, depending how close they get on which way they enter the volume, right? Boom. Just simple things like that. But it helps you learn. It also means that you're getting more of an understanding for the tools available and all those elements, right?
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/Level Design Lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
So think about on those things. I think the next thing that we talk about is like learning your tools, especially us as level designers. It's learning that of your metrics. This is one tool. I've noticed a lot still that metrics is not really spoken about or talked too much to other, in regards to like schools teaching. And that's something that's a shame, because metrics are such an important element. I've talked about metrics on this podcast multiple times. I think I've had guests mention about it. I wrote articles on it. All of these. So really get out there and learn about metrics. When you're building your levels, build a small gym, build a space which you can test how wide corridors can be. How high should the player be able to jump? Because once you have this data, it's going to help you actually not only follow these well, they eventually do become rules, and creating spaces that look believable but also feel right in terms of movement. But then we've mentioned this before, it can subvert other expectations by you using and breaking them rules to create something memorable against the grain compared to other levels, right? So that's the first one, understanding your metrics. The next one's understanding your mechanics. Your mechanics are always going to be a tough one at certain points in development because they constantly get designed, scrapped, redesigned, new, broken, changed. But that's important on you, and something you as a level designer must make sure that you commit to is reading up the documentation, finding out, staying in the loop, communicating with your game designing gameplay team in order to actually make sure you have the correct information. If you don't know how the mechanics work, how can you allow players or encourage players to use those mechanics in an exciting way when you don't know how to use them? So that's another thing. Make sure you're constantly reading up to date with your documentation. I think that's always important for this. Always make sure you have that. I'm trying to think of what other ones. There's probably way more, but I've just kind of forgotten. As I said, I was kind of just winging this episode today too. So those are a few things. I just think it's important just to remember those. That's why, I harp on about when you're building portfolio pieces, level designs, it's sometimes better for you to be able to actually jump in and create a level in a pre-existing game versus creating your own overall game. Not that there isn't merit to any other method, but I recommend that because you learn the metrics, you already have a list of the mechanics. If you've played the game, you know how they work already. Great stuff in total for you to use to your advantage when you're actually building out a level. So those are just some fun ones for you. A heads up, I didn't get to take a break during... I usually take a break in September because that's the month that I created Level Design Lobby and usually take some time there. I haven't been able to do that just for a number of reasons. So I know this is a bit of time away from when it's released, but I think come December, if I don't take most of it off, I'm going to take 3 weeks off. So that applies to both Patreon tasks as well of that as me just probably not producing episodes for that month. Again, just I want some time, a bit of a break. This year's been, as I said, a bit of a tough one for me. Big changes have happened in my life, and I'm kind of just wanting to catch my breath a little bit and see a bit more of it. So thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate all of you, as I said, from guests, supporters on Patreon, my entire editing staff, and to you who all listen. So again, thank you so much for an incredible 4 years. It's been crazy to think that it's been 4 years, to be honest. I don't even believe that. But yeah, take care, everyone, and I'll catch you all next time, all right? If you do want to reach out to me, you can email into show@leveldesignlobby@gmail.com. If you want to tweet me, you can do it at MaxPairs. And if you want to support the show to make sure we constantly get better and improve, head on over to patreon.com/leveldesignlobby. Thank you all very much, and I'll catch you all next time.